All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're diving into something huge, something you've probably never seen, but it's about to change everything in your tech. We're talking about the incredible jump from the flat 2D transistors that basically built our modern world to these tiny three-dimensional structures that are going to power our future.
For years, we've heard this same old story, right? Moore's Law is dead. People keep saying the party's over, that this relentless engine of technological progress is finally sputtering out. But then, it just doesn't. It always seems to find a way to come roaring back. So, what is really going on? Well, the truth is, it's not really dying. It's just evolving. It's reinventing itself. See, every time we think we've hit a wall, it's because engineers have to literally go back to square one and completely rethink the most fundamental building block of all technology, the transistor. And guess what? That is exactly where we are right now.
So, to really get a grip on where we're headed, we've got to look back at the hero of the last decade or so, the FinFET transistor. We need to understand what made it so great, and more importantly, why this amazing piece of tech has finally hit a dead end. The FinFET it was a totally brilliant idea. Instead of the old flat design, engineers cleverly turned the gate on its side. It created this little fin that sticks up, and this let them control the flow of electricity from three sides instead of just one. It was this 3D trick that powered a whole decade of innovation, giving us the smaller, faster chips we love. But here's the catch. As we try to shrink it down to practically atomic scales, the design itself is starting to, well, fall apart. It's basically running smack into three huge walls. First up, you've got the physics wall. When you get down to the 5-nanometer scale, electrons just start doing their own thing. They literally tunnel through where they're not supposed to, leaking current and wasting a ton of power. Then there's the manufacturing wall. To get more performance, you have to build these fins taller and thinner, but that makes them super fragile and electrically messy. And finally, the design wall. This one's tricky, but basically, you can only add a whole fin, not half a fin. So chip designers lose that fine-grained control they desperately need to optimize circuits. And this is really the key point here. For so long, the biggest challenge was just lithography. Could we print things small enough? But now we can. The problem isn't the printing anymore, it's the architecture. The very shape of the FinFET is what's holding us back, and you just can't tweak it anymore to fix these fundamental problems. Okay, so if the FinFET is the problem, what's the answer? Well, the entire industry is putting all its chips, pun intended, on a completely new design, one that adds a whole new dimension of control. It's called Gate-All-Around, or you'll hear it called GAA for short. Now, at first glance, the difference might seem simple, but trust me, it's absolutely profound. Remember how the FinFET controlled the channel from three sides? Well, GAA, as the name kind of gives away, wraps the gate completely around the channel, total 360-degree control. And that complete envelopment, that's the secret sauce. It lets the gate just choke off all that wasteful current leakage way more effectively than a FinFET ever could. Think of it like this. A FinFET is like a C-clamp, gripping something from three sides. It's good, but not perfect. GAA is like a perfectly sealed pipe. Nothing gets out. And you can really see the leap forward right here. We're moving from that single, rigid, vertical fin to these stacked horizontal nanosheets. And for chip designers, this is a huge deal. With FinFETs, they were stuck adding entire fins. It was all or nothing. It was quantized. But with GAA, they can tune the width of these nanosheets with incredible precision. They get this continuous, granular control to dial in the exact performance or power savings they're looking for. It's a game changer for them. So what does all this fancy architectural magic actually mean for you and me? Well, it translates to massive gains in what we call PPA, power, performance, and area. That's kind of the holy trinity of chip design. We're talking about a potential 30% boost in performance, or get this, a 50% reduction in power use. This is the tech that's going to let you have way more powerful AI in your pocket without your battery dying in like an hour. Okay, so the theory is amazing. It sounds great on paper, but the real question is, how in the world do you actually build these things? We're talking about billions, with a B, of these impossibly complex atomic scale structures, and you have to build them perfectly on a single tiny chip. It sounds almost impossible. The process is basically microscopic 3D construction, but way more complicated. First, you grow what's called a superlattice. Just picture a tiny layer cake of two different materials, like silicon and silicon germanium. Then you use a super selective chemical to dissolve and wash away just one of those materials. This leaves the other layers, the silicon channels, just suspended in midair. It's wild. And finally, you deposit the gate material, which flows in and wraps itself perfectly around those suspended nanosheets. It is truly mind-bending stuff. And what's cool is that GAA isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. There are two main flavors. For the really high-performance stuff, your CPU, your graphics card, you use nanosheets. They're like wide, thin ribbons that can push a ton of electrical current. But for your low-power gadgets, like an IoT device or a smartwatch, you use nanowires. These are much thinner, designed for maximum efficiency and almost zero leakage. And this really points to a massive shift in the entire industry. For decades, it was all about lithography. The race was all about who had the best printing press. But that's not the main game anymore. Now, winning depends on mastering materials science and chemistry at a scale that is just almost hard to comprehend. So you have this incredibly difficult new technology. And what happens next is pretty predictable, right? It sparked an absolutely high-stakes, multi-billion-dollar race between the world's biggest chip makers to see who can get it right first. And what's fascinating is that the three big players, Samsung, TSMC, and Intel, are all taking totally different approaches. Samsung decided to be the first mover. They jumped into GAA at 3 nanometer to get a head start and learn the ropes. But that's a risky move. TSMC, on the other hand, played it more conservatively. They squeezed every last drop out of FinFETs, waiting to deploy a more mature, hopefully higher-yield GAA process at 2 nanometer. And then you have Intel, who's trying this audacious leapfrog. They're bundling their version of GAA with another huge innovation called backside power delivery. It's a high-risk, high-reward play. But at the end of the day, this race isn't going to be won with fancy PowerPoint slides or press releases. The real battle, the thing that truly matters, isn't just being first. It's about mastering that brutally complex manufacturing. The real winner will be decided on the factory floor. It's about who can get high, stable yields and crank these things out by the millions reliably. So, GAA is going to be the engine for our tech for probably the next decade. It's a huge step. But you know the tech industry, they never stop. They're already looking beyond it, figuring out what the next great leap will be to keep Moore's Law chugging along. And that brings us to what's likely next on the horizon, something called the complementary FET, or CFET. Now think about it this way. If GAA made the transistor itself 3D, CFET is about taking that to the next level and stacking entire transistors right on top of each other. We're talking about building truly three-dimensional circuits. The potential gain in density here is just staggering. For basically 50 years, the fundamental unit of logic has required putting two different kinds of transistors, an N-type and a P-type, right next to each other, side by side. CFET completely upends that. It stacks them vertically. By building up instead of just out, we could potentially double transistor density in a single shot. This could be the breakthrough that unlocks the next full generation of Moore's Law. So this shift, this move to vertical stacking, it's so much more than just a clever engineering trick. It's a fundamental change in how we design and build our digital world. For half a century, we've been focused on shrinking things sideways. Now, the next great frontier is vertical. So the real question is, what amazing new things become possible when we finally start building our technology up? Thanks for joining us.